Whoopi Goldberg was just suspended from The View after she made some controversial comments about the treatment of Jewish people during the Second World War. This has caused fans to look into her past, and it's clear this was not the first time we were warned about Whoopi Goldberg. First up, Meghan McCain. Following Whoopi's controversial comments on the Holocaust, her former co-host on The View, Meghan McCain, decided to share her disappointment with the comments. For a refresher, the women were talking about the book Mouse and how it was banned in school in Tennessee. The book talks about the Second World War and what it was like to be Jewish during that terrifying time. Amid the debate about the book, Whoopi decided to share her opinion and argued that the quote, Holocaust wasn't about race, saying quote, if you're going to do this, now let's be truthful about it because the Holocaust wasn't about race. No, it's not about race. Joy Behar then clapped back, saying that the German leaders discriminated against the Jews because they felt they were a different race. Goldberg countered that it was not about race, rather quote, about man's inhumanity to man. Anna Navarro then chimed in saying it was about white supremacy and going after Jews and gypsies, though Goldberg doubled down and stated that quote, these are two white groups of people, which in her mind meant it was not about race. Following the episode, viewers were outraged at Whoopi's comments and called them dangerous and ignorant because she is completely wrong. Goldberg apologized on the episode the following day and read a statement from a member of the Anti-Defamation League, which stated that attacks on the Jewish people only happened because the Germans deemed them to be an inferior race. McCain decided to share her thoughts on Twitter as the scandal was unfolding, and she condemned Goldberg's remarks. She wrote, quote, I hate commenting on my old employer because I have moved on in every way a person can move on. That being said, I am an activist against anti-Semitism, and it's a big part of my life. The growing threat is real and everywhere. I am heartbroken about what was said. McCain called the comments bizarre, incoherent, and even dangerous in a column she later wrote for the Daily Mail. Adding quote, I'm not calling for Whoopi Goldberg to be fired, if only because I don't believe there is any universe where she could possibly do anything that could get her fired. She's the crown jewel of The View and a pop culture icon, and continued that she wanted the show to instead use this as a teaching moment to explain to viewers why she was wrong. McCain also wrote, quote, instead of half-assed apologies and bringing in experts in the anti-Semitism space, maybe dedicate an entire Hot Topic segment to discussing why what was said was so deeply offensive and dangerous. Instead of listening to McCain's idea, the network instead decided to suspend Whoopi for 2 weeks, which many felt is not a punishment and actually just a cop-out that will take attention off the situation. Next up, Bella Thorne. Whoopi Goldberg got in a feud with Bella Thorne of all people because the women of The View decided to talk about Bella Thorne leaking her own intimate photos after hackers threatened to do it without her consent in 2019. Intimate photos of celebrities leaked to the public is becoming a more common occurrence, with hackers able to hack into cell phones easier than ever. But Bella decided to do things differently and took control of the narrative instead of letting the hackers control her. Whoopi not only had a problem with Thorne's decision to publish the photos, she thought they should have never been taken in the first place, saying quote, if you're famous, I don't care how old you are, you don't take pictures of yourself. Many felt this mindset blamed Bella for her decision rather than blaming the hackers for invading her privacy. Bella responded back on Twitter, writing quote, Dear Whoopi, I have loved you for so long, but honestly I'm so displeased and saddened by your response to my leak. Blaming girls for taking the photo in the first place is sick and honestly disgusting. Adding quote, your view on this matter is honestly awful and I hope you change your mindset as you are a show talking to young girls. George Bush. One of the worst moments in Whoopi's career happened after she made an offensive joke about former President Bush that got her blacklisted from the industry. At the Kerry fundraiser at Radio City Music Hall, Whoopi said a joke relating the president's last name to a woman's pubic hair, saying quote, we should keep Bush where he belongs. Whoopi said this while gesturing to her crotch, quote, and not in the White House. The backlash started almost immediately, and Slim Fast removed her from its ad campaign in the days after. A statement from the company said, quote, we are disappointed by the manner in which Ms. Goldberg chose to express herself and sincerely regret her recent remarks offended some of our consumers. Whoopi responded to Slim Fast in her own statement, saying, quote, while I can appreciate what the Slim Fast people need to do in order to protect their business, I must also do what I need to do as an artist, as a writer, and as an American, not to mention as a comic. The Democratic National Convention also uninvited Whoopi from its 2004 events. Meanwhile, her acting job stopped coming for several years. Whoopi claimed in an interview that the joke greatly affected her career, and she was blacklisted for years after the scandal. She recently described this period to the New York Times Magazine. Quote, for a good 3 years, I couldn't even get arrested. Her acting credits during these years are the smallest in her career. Bill Cosby. Goldberg got a ton of heat after she decided to defend Bill Cosby when the first allegations came out against him. On a 2014 episode of The View, when actress Barbara Bowman spoke about her claims, Whoopi responded, quote, "Quite honestly, having been on both sides of this, where people allege that you do something, it doesn't matter now, people have something in their head. I have a lot of questions for the lady, maybe she'll come forward." She also said the allegations would be more believable if the women would have come forward earlier and not waited so long, continuing that she is not going to make a judgment until she has all the facts. Many women did not like this, as it goes against the believe all women mantra that most women abide by in these situations. Then after lots of pushback, she later changed her opinion in 2015, saying she could no longer believe that Cosby was innocent until proven guilty, adding, quote, "If this is to be tried in the court of public opinion, I gotta say all of the information that's out there kinda points to guilt." Ray Rice. Another person that she controversially defended was NFL player Ray Rice in 2014. Rice was a topic of discussion on The View after his wife claimed that he hit her. Whoopi decided to defend Rice's actions after she learned that his wife hit Rice first. Whoopi said, quote, "If you make the choice as a woman who is 4'3" and you decide to hit a guy who is 6 foot tall and you're the last thing he wants to deal with that day and he hits you back, you cannot be surprised." Adding, quote, "I know I'm going to catch a lot of hell, but I don't care. You have to teach women, do not live with this idea that men have this chivalry thing still with them. Don't assume that's still in place." Goldberg had similar thoughts after Solange was seen hitting Jay-Z in an elevator. Whoopi believed that Jay-Z would not have gotten any flack if he had decided to retaliate, saying, quote, "I think Solange was quite ready for him to do whatever he was going to do. This is the thing, if anybody hits you, you have the right. I know that many people are raised in a different way, but if a woman hits you, to me, you have the right to hit her back." Goldberg added that if I slap a man, he has every right to slap me back. Of course, these statements were widely condemned, with many believing that a man should never put hands on a woman, regardless of the circumstances. And finally, Whoopi herself. Now that Whoopi is in a scandal dealing with anti-Semitism, people have been looking into her past and many are concerned about the origins of her stage name. If you didn't already know, Whoopi Goldberg is not her real name. It's actually Karen Elaine Johnson. We know the name Whoopi came because she's known for her flatulence. Videos of Goldberg passing gas are all over YouTube, so it's not surprising to find out that her first name is an homage to the whoopee cushion. When speaking about her name, she told NBC News that she was lucky she had gotten the name Whoopi versus Stinky, since she's known for the sound and not the smell. However, the second part of her stage name is where the controversy starts. Whoopi chose the last name Goldberg because she wanted to sound more Jewish. Her and her mother believed that having a Jewish last name would help her to get roles, which gives into the dangerous stereotypes that Jewish people control the media, which is far from the truth and is the cause of a lot of anti-Jewish rhetoric. During an interview with Vulture, Whoopi said, quote, "So you have people who say, well, why is your name Whoopi Goldberg? You just want to be a white woman? It's like, no, I've been black the whole time." Goldberg has said that she has some Jewish ancestry and that she took her surname from a faraway relative. However, she did admit that her mother preferred the name Goldberg to Johnson when she wanted to get into Hollywood. Goldberg's mother reportedly thought her middle name Johnson wasn't, quote, Jewish enough for her to succeed in Hollywood. That's all for the list. Let me know your thoughts below, but before I go, I'm gonna shout out some comments from celebrities who tried to warn us about Jennifer Aniston. Monica said, "In my opinion, Jennifer looks a lot better than Angelina." I think to me, both women look great and they're just so different. Like, they're completely two different looks. Both women are beautiful in my opinion. Then Marlena said, "I love just about every movie Jennifer's been in, but you can see she's unnecessarily rude when the cameras are off. She's best friends with the Queen of Nice, Ellen." Definitely, it's very, very shady that she's such close friends with Ellen. Really makes me think differently of her. Then Lee said, "Aniston is only known for dating Brad Pitt and a mediocre yuppie TV series Friends. Movie career, not so much. I've heard her elitist rude stories before." Wow, I'd love to hear more about these stories. I didn't know so many people had bad interactions with her. But yeah, definitely the Brad Pitt Angelina thing definitely raised her career a lot, I assume. Alright guys, that is all for the list. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and we will catch you on the next one.